for joining me again for another Pixie Talks review vlog.
Pixie Talks, reviews and vlogs at Pixie Talks. Pixie Talks, reviews and vlogs at Pixie Talks.
Woo! It's time for another Hiddleston review. Tom Hiddleston certainly has been busy of late, with a lot of his more recent projects coming out around now. I Saw the Light is in theaters, High Rise is due soon, and his BBC spy drama miniseries has just finished airing in the UK and starting airing in the US. And I am a sucker for a good spy drama. So let's take a look at the BBC miniseries adaptation of the spy novel by the famed Jean Le Carré, The Night Manager. So this is going to get a little bit spoilery, unfortunately, both in terms of the miniseries and the novel that it is based on. So if you don't want to know the nitty-gritty details of the ending, here is your warning. So the first thing that I have to say about this is that I did read the book when the project was announced because I wanted to have a good grasp on the source material that they were adapting from. And also maybe because I was so excited of the idea of Tom Hiddleston playing a spy that I could not wait for it to start airing and wanted to read it first. And it's an enthralling book that I pretty much hated. The story is about a man named Jonathan Pine, who works as the night manager at fancy hotels. Also, he has a background in military. His story is launched by the death of a woman in Cairo after he becomes embroiled in the world of illegal weapons trades. This starts him on a path towards paying back the people responsible for the death of Sophie, as well as a vendetta to take out the arms merchants. He signs up with an intelligence agency, they craft him a new identity, and send him undercover to take out the head arms merchant, Richard Roper. The thing is, the meat of this book is super dry. It is an awful lot of political red tape and bureaucratic intrigue. The intelligence agencies are as much the villains as the weapons merchants. Corrupt leadership and infighting that I couldn't quite grasp all the nuances of, taking up a vast majority of the book. That said, the miniseries manages to simplify a lot of that intrigue and make the scenes taking place within the intelligence agencies a lot more engaging. I was never as bored with the show as I was often with the book. It was beautifully acted and every aspect fell into place, hitting a great stride and keeping the story moving quickly. Now, the other major problem with the book is the kind of, misogynistic bent that it tends to take. The only female characters in the book are love and/or sexual interests for Jonathan, and the man himself is really not that great in how he views women. We see a lot of his inner monologues as he thinks of the women in his life, and he's pretty antagonistic towards them. He resents Jed, for instance, for having the audacity to be so attractive, and he hates her with a vehemence right up until we are expected to understand that he loves her. His story is launched by Sophie, violence towards women once more serving as a beginning point for the story of a man. The BBC series, however, fixed all the kinds of feminist gripes I had with the story, and I really appreciated that. The head of the intelligence agency is now a woman, and she was one of the most interesting characters in the show. Jed is also given much more development and characterization than she ever had in the book, which serves to really level out the imbalance in the story. Props to BBC for more inclusive nature in their adaptation. And now we come to the biggest problem I had with the book. The ending. The ending of this book appalled me, though to be fair, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to, so it accomplished its goal. The book ends with Jonathan's cover blown. He's being tortured and interrogated by Roper and his men, and the intelligence agency is crumbling from the inside out. The intelligence agency is able to pull a few last-ditch strings to rescue him, but those strings will also topple the entire mission. They are able to pull him out with his life, but Roper gets away scot-free. The end result is a complete draw. Nothing mattered. None of the events of the book had any meaning or consequences in any way. Personally, I find this ending absolutely atrocious because it betrays the reader and makes me feel like I wasted my entire time reading it. I honestly would have been more okay with Jonathan being killed by Roper. But with this, there's no closure or conclusion. There's no resolution to the narrative. Now, that sucker punch, bittersweet ending was clearly what he was going for, but personally I absolutely hated it and wanted to burn the darn thing when I got to the end. Now, the BBC series has kind of the opposite ending. It ends on a high note. Roper is taken out by the intelligence agency, Jonathan's spy work pays off, and none of it was in vain. It's a happy ending all around. Here's the thing. While I did personally enjoy this ending a lot more, I kind of question whether or not it's a better ending. It is happier, but I mean, maybe the point of it was to be bleak. So I guess it's up to you which way you prefer things to go. Now, let's talk about the real star of this show, the acting. This has an absolutely fantastic cast, from Tom Hiddleston as Jonathan Pine to Hugh Laurie as Richard Roper. I was impressed by absolutely every performance in this production. The acting absolutely swept me off my feet and immersed me into this world of spy intrigue and complex political upheaval. Roper was actually my favorite character in the book, and Hugh Laurie did a phenomenal job portraying his easy charisma and jovial likability hiding his darker nature. Hiddleston was, of course, fantastic as always, and there were some really intense moments in this that blew me away entirely. Altogether, I loved it. I loved the portrayal of it, and I feel like for the most part I enjoyed it more than the book, though I would hesitate to say that it is better than the book. Purists would say that they skipped an awful lot of rather important material. I was rather sad to have missed seeing his time in Quebec, for instance. But I feel like they modernized it very well, and I had a wonderful time watching it. That's it for my review of The Night Manager. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do be sure to subscribe for more. You can also add me on Facebook and Twitter for more updates and some of my other projects. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye!